Hello everyone, I'm Devika Pawar and I'm going to be continuing on the topic provisional diagnosis, differential diagnosis and investigations. So before moving on this topic, let us know what is diagnosis. Diagnosis is the identification by a medical professional of a condition, disease or injury made by evaluating the symptoms and signs presented by a patient. The act or process of identifying or determining the nature and cause of a disease or injury through evaluation of patient history, examination, and review of laboratory data. Provisional diagnosis, also known as tentative diagnosis or working diagnosis. It is a general diagnosis based on clinical impression without any laboratory investigations. It is an initial diagnosis from which further investigation can be planned. The first term on the provisional diagnosis list should pertain to the chief complaint. Differential diagnosis. They are a list of conditions that resemble the clinical diagnosis but differ from the clinical diagnosis by at least one feature. For example, if the chief complaint of the patient is pain in the lower right back tooth for past 5 days and on clinical examination, apart from caries, the tooth is tender on percussion. So provisional diagnosis may be apical periodontitis. In differential diagnosis, it can be chronic irreversible pulpitis and periapical abscess. Investigations. Investigations are needed to help the clinician confirm his clinical diagnosis, to detect the suspected illness, and to modify the treatment plan. The investigations to be carried out are hematological investigations, serum chemistry evaluation, histopathological investigations, and radiographic investigation. In radiological examination, there is conventional radiography and specialized imaging. So in conventional radiography, there is intraoral and extraoral radiography. And in specialized imaging, there is conventional tomography and computed tomography. Intraoral radiography. In intraoral radiography, there is intraoral periapical view or intraoral periapical radiograph, which is also called as IOPA. The areas best appreciated here are teeth, periapical lesion, lamina dura, periodontal ligament, and supporting alveolar bone. The indications of IOPA are studying impacted third molars, periapical lesions, the relation of the maxillary sinus to the teeth, localizing fractured or remnant root pieces, localizing foreign bodies in interdental lesions, differentiating between cystic and tumorous lesions, locating the exact extent of the periapical lesion, especially in the maxilla, in trauma cases to identify the dentoalveolar fractures and to rule out tooth fractures. The advantages are excellent view of the teeth and periapical lesion with minimal distortion. And the disadvantages are it cannot be used when the oral opening is reduced or for extensive lesions. The techniques of IOPA. So basically there are two techniques. First one is the angle bisecting technique and the second one is the paralleling technique. So angle bisecting technique. X-ray beam is directed at right angle to the plane, which bisects the angle between the long axis of the tooth and the film. Paralleling technique. The film is placed parallel to the long axis of the tooth using a special film holder. The X-ray beam should be directed at right angle to the film. Occlusal radiography. The areas which are best viewed are in maxilla, there is hard palate, contour and continuity of the upper arch. And in mandible, there is floor of the mouth, lingual aspect of the mandible, lower arch contour and continuity. The indications of occlusal radiography are to locate the impacted wisdom teeth, to locate the ectopic or supernumerary teeth, to check for buccal or palatal cortical plate expansion, localization of salivary calculus and submandibular salivary duct, to study the hard palate and its lesions like torus palatini or palatal tumors, to locate the presence of foreign bodies in the soft tissues, to study the tumors arising on the lingual aspect of the mandible like the mandibular osteomas. The advantages of occlusal radiography are it is the only view that gives excellent visualization of the hard palate and floor of the mouth. When used in correlation with periapical views, they help to give an idea of the buccopalatal or the lingual position of the object under consideration. Extraoral radiography. In extraoral radiography, there is orthopantomogram, lateral oblique view, posterolateral view, which is the Waters view, posterolateral view of the mandible, transarboreal view, transcranial view, lateral cephalogram, posterior-anterior view of the skull, lateral skull view, submental vertex view, which is the jug handles view, and the chest X-ray. Orthopantomogram. It is a panoramic scanning dental X-ray in which the best appreciated areas are as follows. The TMJ, posterior and anterior border of the ramus, angle and body of the mandible, continuity of the inferior border of the mandible, ramus of the mandible, pterygomaxillary fissures, maxillary tuberosity, maxillary sinuses, and teeth. Specialized imaging. In specialized imaging, there is conventional tomography. Conventional tomography is the use of X-rays to visualize the 3D image of internal structures. During tomography, the radiographic tube moves in one direction, the film moves in the opposite direction, and the fulcrum in the system remains stationary. The level of fulcrum is represented in the patient as the layer of interest, where the anatomic structures are in sharp focus. All the points above and below this plane are blurred. Used for imaging of the temporomandibular joints and occasionally to examine other facial structures, for example, the orbital cavity. Computer tomography. Computer tomography was first introduced in the mid-1970s. The CT scanners basically produce a digital data measuring the extent of X-ray transmission through an object. This numerical information is transformed into a density scale and used to reconstruct a visual image. Advantages of CT scan over conventional radiographs are better visualization of structures in various minute levels and planes, greater geometric precision, three-dimensional view of the facial structures, sensitivity to discriminate between objects with small difference in density like blood and fat or blood and CSF, better visualization of the paranasal and orbital structures, exact localization of the lesions and their extent. So this is an image of CT scan. Magnetic resonance imaging, which is MRI, is a computer-based tomographic technique that is developed to image tissues using positron emissions from isotopes or signal derived from the nuclear magnetic resonance properties of protons in the tissue water. Uses of MRI in oral surgery are excellent imaging modality for soft tissues and has superseded CT scans, evaluation of the imaging of the TMJ, the tumors of the nasopharynx, parapharyngeal area, and salivary glands. This is an image of MRI. Xylography. Xylography is the radiographic examination of the salivary glands. It usually involves the injection of a small amount of contrast medium into the salivary duct of the gland, followed by routine X-ray projections. The resulting image is called as a xylogram. The uses of xylography are detection of xylolithiasis or foreign bodies, evaluation of the extent of the ductal damage secondary to infection, evaluation of suspected neoplasm as to the location, extent, and size, evaluation of fistulae, diverticulae, and strictures, diagnosis of autoimmune disorders like Sjogren's syndromes and Mikulic's disease. So these are images of xylography. In the first image, inflammation of the parotid gland can be seen. And in the second image, stricture of the gland can be seen. 3D image reconstruction in CT is a recent advancement in radiographic clinical aids. It is a mathematical process that generates tomographic images from X-ray projection data acquired at many different angles around the patient. It is a term describing the calculation of images from the raw data obtained from the detector modules of the CT scanner. The reconstruction of image data with a soft tissue or bone algorithm can only be performed from the raw data. Importance. For instance, the lesion information of the patients can be presented in 3D on the computer. It offers a new and accurate approach in diagnosis and thus has a vital clinical value. So this is an image of the 3D reconstruction CT scan. Biopsy procedures. Bio means tissue, opsy means vision. Biopsy refers to the removal of tissue from a living organism for the purpose of microscopic examination and diagnosis. Indications of biopsy are non-healing ulcer, non-scrapable patches in oral cavity, positive tolbidin blue staining of the lesion. Advantages of biopsy are to provide provisional diagnosis, serves as treatment for smaller lesions, helps in planning the treatment for the patient. Types of biopsies. The first one is excisional biopsy. This is done for smaller lesions. The lesion is excised completely so that the pathologist will be able to tell the surgeon whether the lesion was completely removed or not during surgery. Second one is incisional biopsy. This is done for larger lesions for the purpose of diagnosis. Third one is punch biopsy. A circular incision of 3 to 4 mm is taken. It is a convenient method for oral mucosal lesions. Aspiration biopsy. This is done for palpable lesions like cysts, swellings, and lymph nodes. The fluid material is obtained for undergoing culture sensitivity tests. Curettage. The cavities of cysts, sinuses, fistulae are scraped out with a curette. Sixth one is true cut biopsy. It is indicated in case of symptomless head and neck swellings. Oral brush biopsy. In this, an instrument called a biopsy brush is used. It is indicated in case of premalignant lesions of oral mucosa. The last one is drill biopsy. Ellis drill is made with straight handpiece in this. It is used to get tissue from the central fibroosseous lesions. The books that are referred to are Nilima Malik and S.M. Balaji. Thank you.